G'day, Ben from Melbourne here. Today we're going to do a thread. First saw this thread with the mighty embryonic robot. That is Brian from Toronto, Canada. Wasn't his thread to start with, but I'm outfitted in his honour because he seems to like a jumper and a t-shirt. Myself, going with the hint of blue to accentuate the beautiful blue peepers I have. And solidarity, brother, because people call you no logo Brian, and I think that that's a badge of honour, because fuck advertising for anybody on your clothing when you have to pay for it. So I don't get all that shit. I don't think that's a slur on your good name. I think that that is an attribute. So everyone who wears the logo, get your shit together and stop dressing like a slob, man. Anyway, that's probably just made everyone in the VC pissed off at me and watch the subs go, whoa, all the way down. Let's not get sidetracked. Speaking of subs, the guy who actually started this thread is called Tommy's Musical Adventures. I wasn't familiar with this bloke, but I'm going to jump on board and subscribe because I like this thread. And you should too, but not until you've watched this video. So it's pretty simple. 5 great debuts. Easy. Of course, on this here channel, it's going to be all Australian. So let's get straight into it. First up, an absolute banger. The Saints, of course. Probably never heard me talk about this band before, ever. With their startlingly amazing debut, I'm Stranded. To me, this is the greatest debut record of all time, all genres, all eras. It does not get any better than this. And anyone who disagrees, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you're probably like Van Morrison. So your argument is null and void. 1977, this came out. Just a complete bolt from the blue in all ways. Nothing like it musically before in this country and many other countries, even though things were cooking up around the same time. But the Saints were the first to get a single out of any of the bands in that era with the great single I'm Stranded. The song alone, just, if that was all it had, that would be all you would need. But it's also got the amazing One Way Street, great cover of Missing Link's Wild About You, Messing with the Kid, probably the only punk ballad that actually works, Kissin' Cousins, the Elvis song, that's right. And then it just finishes off with the glorious Nights in Venice, which I had hair before I first heard that song and it just sheared it clean off the top of my head. Hair's a hindrance anyway. Slows you down. Don't need it. Greatest debut of all time, bar none. Pretty close behind though for our next pick is Radio Birdman with their amazing record, Radios Appear. Now, if you've either got this one or the US version, it's all banger, no clanger, baby. Slight track variation, but I don't think it really matters. It's all good. Like, I think the American one has Aloha, Stephen Dano, which was the single, which isn't on the Australian one. But hey, TVI, Murder City Nights, Descend into Maelstrom, Do the Pop, New Race. Could you want more? I think not. Yeah, this one's probably got more of that MC5 Stooges Detroit sound, and that's because of the great Dennis Tech. Was born in Detroit, studied in Sydney, and formed the mighty Radio Birdman. Both of these records I've talked about so far, I've featured on my channel. You can go back and see videos which were dedicated just to Radio Birdman's Radio Appears and also the Saints' I'm Stranded. which also have some sound bites in there if you want to have a listen and aren't familiar. So, as good as those two are, let's not stick with the old farts for amazing debuts. I know, VC, that most of you just can't handle the fact that there is new music out there and it's fucking good. You'd prefer to buy the new Journey record. But we'll get into that another time. Now, another one which was on my series of shed burner videos, and this one will straighten your pubes, baby. Stepmother. What a fucking band. What a debut. Planet Brutalacon. Not sure about their English, but forget about that. The record is fantastic. Now, obviously, big debt to the previous two bands I've shown, but of course, their own spin on this. Just really good, sort of punk rock, but there's a rock and roll swagger to this as well. Again, go back, watch the video I made, which has got the sound bites on here. This will flip your wig. Fantastic debut. Can't wait to see what happens next. One of my favorites ever, and it's a new band, Split System with Volume 1. Oh, this is a shed burner for sure. Another one I featured on a video. This is like the Saints, but modern, and bring in a few other like influences like Eddie Current. Just that punk which has got a bit of swagger about it. Even some of those sort of early 80s, late 70s English punk bands. And Jackson Reed Briggs, what a fantastic punk vocalist he is. And unlike Stepmother, we do know what the second record sounded like. Trust me, people. If you don't have it, it's as killer as the first record. What a band. One of my all-time favorites, easily slipped in. I don't know what your judgment is if you need it to like marinate for 37 years before you call it a classic, but fuck that. If it's a classic, as soon as you put it on the turntable, it's a classic in my book. Split System with Volume 1. Next up, Adalita. Her first solo album, I believe it's just self-titled. This is in a different realm to the last few, which are definitely all got a foot in the punk camp. This is kind of like a very spare, smoky album. I don't know if there was actually many darts smoked during the recording of this record, but it's got that smouldering bit of space. The focuses on Adalita's vocals, and it's not an acoustic record or anything like that. It's actually got electric guitars and that, but it's very, very spare and dark and melancholy. Beautiful record. She's released another 2 since this one, and they're all bangers as well. This is just a fantastic debut. And you're like, well, that doesn't count because it's not really a debut because she was in Magic Dirt, so she already knew what the fuck she was doing. And if that's where you want to go with that and be a knobhead about it, well, stick this up your ass. Eddie Current Suppression Ring. Yes, the one that gave all of those cardigan, top knot barista types a good kick in the ass in the 2000s, just when we needed it, and it all got a bit too about feelings and cardigans and all that bullshit. Eddie Current comes storming in with a 1-2 punch, actually, like their second record is as good, if not better, than their debut, but I guess the debut has the slight edge of it had the newness of we didn't know what to expect. Spartan recording, pretty much live in the practice room. I was going to say the studio. They didn't even fucking bother with the studio. But that's just what it needs. It's raw. It's in your face. It's got unusual vocal delivery, but almost spoken by Brendan, but fantastic. And of course, the mighty Mikey Young. This is where I was introduced to him anyway, with his incredible guitar playing. We're not talking technical notey bullshit, just good raw riffage from that long lineage of great guitarists in Australian punk bands. So that's my bonus, in case you didn't think Adalita counted. That's it. As simple as that. Get on board, do it yourself, go and subscribe. Have a scrub if you haven't had a scrub yet, because you might be a bit on the nose. But also subscribe to Tommy's Vinyl Adventures. Thanks for checking me out solo for a change. I know. We'll be back with other celebrities on the interviewing the vinyl community soon. Check you in the next one.